It's a fresh take on a classic snack pastry. Hello, my dears. Buttercup the Baking Spaniel here, ready to bring you all a delightful new recipe. I'm so excited about today's bake because it was inspired by something rather unique, a plush toy. Take a look at this adorable creation made by the wonderful artist and plush maker Fresh by Flitt. This is a custom handmade plush inspired by two of my very favorite colors. Isn't it delightful? It was made to look like a Pop-Tart, which is a brand of pastry with sweet filling that is topped with icing. I was so thrilled by it that I decided to develop my own Pop-Tart recipe inspired by it with a delicious blueberry lemon theme. We don't have a moment to waste. Let's get baking. We will begin by making the filling, which is going to be a scrumptious blueberry lemon curd. In a medium saucepan, add 317 grams of blueberries. (118 milliliters of lemon juice), and 50 grams of granulated sugar. We will heat this over a medium heat until the mixture comes to a simmer. Continue cooking at a simmer while stirring frequently for several more minutes. You will notice the blueberries beginning to break down and become very soft. The added sugar draws out the liquid in the fruit, softening it and releasing flavorful juices. Once the blueberries have cooked down and become very soft, we will strain this mixture through a fine mesh sieve. Once strained, return the juice to the saucepan. It's such a beautiful color, isn't it? Add 150 grams of granulated sugar, a pinch of salt, and 15 grams of cornstarch. Heat over a medium heat until the mixture comes to a boil and begins to thicken. In a separate heat-proof bowl, whisk together 6 egg yolks. Whisk, 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 whisk. Now we need to temper these eggs by slowly adding about 1/3 of our berry mixture into the eggs, while whisking constantly. This will allow the eggs to heat up slowly. If you were to add in the hot mixture all at once, it could cause the eggs to cook and ruin the texture of your curd. Next, we will add the egg mixture all back into the saucepan and continue cooking over a medium heat until the mixture returns to a boil. Remember to stir constantly during this step to avoid uneven cooking. Once boiling, cook and stir for 3 minutes longer. Next, we will remove from the heat and stir in 63 grams of unsalted butter. To ensure there are no lumps, you can strain again through a fine mesh sieve. Then add in 2 teaspoons of lemon zest. Let's cover the top with cling film to prevent a skin from forming and allow it to cool completely. Now we need to prepare the pastry crust. I have made pie dough from scratch using my favorite recipe from Baker Betty's Better Baking Book. However, store-bought pie dough will work here as well. You will need a double batch, so enough for 2 pie crusts. On a lightly floured surface, we will roll the dough out thin. Now we just need to cut it into rectangular shapes. I have decided to make mini Pop-Tarts for mine because I just love the idea of them being little bite-sized treats. I found this perfect little 6cm rectangular cutter that I will be using to cut the dough out. Let's go. Once cut, place each rectangle on a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. It's not easy. Oh no. Next, let's place about a teaspoon of filling into the center of each rectangle. If you are making bigger pastries, you can add a little more. Just be careful not to overfill, or else your Pop-Tarts will pop open in the oven. Oh dear! Speaking of, did you know that when Kellogg's first introduced their toaster pastries on the market in the 1960s, they were called fruit scones? However, they were quickly renamed to Pop-Tarts as a play on the words pop art, which was a popular art movement at the time. Once each one is filled, we will brush the edges of the dough with an egg wash, which is simply an egg beaten together with 1 tablespoon of water. Place another rectangle of dough over top. Then, using the tines of a fork, seal the edges closed. Poke holes in the top of each pastry to allow steam to escape while baking. Then brush the tops with more egg wash. Now before these go in the oven, I like to place them in the refrigerator for about 5 to 10 minutes to help firm the dough up after being shaped. These will need to bake at 375 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 190 degrees Celsius, for 13 to 15 minutes, or until the tops are a nice golden color. Allow to cool for a few minutes on the baking sheet, then transfer to a wire rack to finish cooling. While they are cooling, let's make the icing that will go on top. In a mixing bowl, combine 90 grams of powdered sugar, 2 teaspoons of the blueberry curd, one teaspoon of lemon zest, and 1 tablespoon of water. Mix together until nice and smooth. Oh, just look at that gorgeous color! Now, we could stop there. However, the plush these were inspired by has a fun little yellow zigzag design on it. So I will be making a second icing to mimic that. In a small bowl, combine 25 grams of powdered sugar and 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. I am also adding just a little bit of yellow food coloring to give it a bit more pop. Feel free to leave that out if you would prefer. That looks great. Let's carefully ice the tops of each pastry with our main icing. Let's see how nicely I can do this. Oh, it's dripping already. Now it might seem very loose at first, but as it cools, this icing should set pretty firm. And for the final step, we will drizzle the lemon icing over the top in a zigzag pattern. Well, that's a sort of a pattern. Oh, how fun! Well, goodness me, aren't these just precious? The colors are so vibrant and I just love the adorable size. As for the flavor, the sweet blueberry paired with the tart lemon is just the perfect combination. The filling is wonderfully smooth and the crust is so flaky and tender. I don't think I will ever go back to store-bought Pop-Tarts after trying these. I want to send a huge thank you to Fresh by Flitt for creating the adorable plush that inspired these treats. If you are interested in checking out her wonderful work, I will put a link to her shop in the description below. And if you happen to be at the convention Megaplex coming up very soon, she will also have a booth in the dealer's den. Be sure to stop by and tell her Buttercup sent you. Oh, speaking of Megaplex, I will also be there. I'm so very excited. I can't wait to see everyone there. Keep an eye out for Lelia, Rusty, and of course Buttercup throughout the weekend. Much love to all of you. Until next time. Mwah! This is the new buttercup. Human hands buttercup. I hope you like human hands buttercup because it's so much easier to do things like this. So from now on, it's only human hands.